Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 5, Episode 9, Speakeasy Writer, and Episode 10, Late Afternoon in the Garden of Bob and Louise. We always start off with our synopsis, so here is Speakeasy Writer. They planned a day at the go-kart tracks only to find out the track is closed for league racing. They want to join in but need a cart. Teddy brought his friends and his home-brewed brewski to pair with Bob's Burgers. He asked Bob to sell his beer in the restaurant, and Bob agrees after tasting the two together. The kids ask Mr. Fischoeder to sponsor them on a go-kart so they can join the league. He sells them an old bumper car, and the kids go to see Critter to soup up the bumper car into a go-kart. The kids have to race through the top of B League and make it to A League, but hadn't decided who was going to drive. Louise ends up the driver for Team Belcher, but there's animosity between the girls. Gene starts learning about the flag waving from Gus and finds his place at the track. Hugo visits Bob's Burgers and is suspicious of the homebrewed beer, leading Bob and Linda to hide their illegal activity from him. Tina ends up driving for another team and gets to drive in A League. Louise works her way up to the top of B League and battles it out with her sister in the Grand Prix. Louise's cart breaks down during the race, and Tina uses her cart to push her sister past the finish line, helping Louise win the race. Bob and Linda are exhausted dealing with Hugo and hiding the homebrew and decide it isn't worth it. A lot happened.
Yeah, a lot happened in this episode.
So we always start off with our puns, though. So what did you get for your vacant storefront?
I've got Crab's Hermit Crab Emporium. I mean,
You had to say that.
yeah,
Oh, that's great.
that's what it says. That's what the sign says.
That's what the sign says. But I like hermit crabs. But people don't take care of them properly.
No,
Is the problem.
that never happened.
I did. My kids ended up with free ones one
Mhm.
time, and the amount of research I did to try and make those hermit crabs last as long as humanly possible. But they don't. It's hard to tell when they die, so that was a fun time.
Yeah,
I think one was dead for like a week, and we had no idea because they barely move.
yeah.
Pest control van.
It was My Fair Sprady Exterminators, which I appreciate the pun. It's just hard to say.
Yeah, we gotta love My Fair
It's a
Lady.
good time. I could have danced all night. Sorry.
And how many burgers of the day do you have?
I have 3.
I have 3 as well.
This was both episodes had instances where like you see half of a burger at first, and then I wrote down basically what I could see, and then eventually you see what the burger actually is. I was a little annoyed that both episodes had that instance, but the first one that paired apparently very well with Teddy's homebrew brewski, which I hate saying, was the blue is the warmest cheeseburger, which warm blue cheese sounds disgusting.
I don't even like blue cheese as it is. Like, warm sounds horrible.
Neither do I.
That's a play on the
No,
film
like
Blue is the Warmest Color.
which is a movie that I unfortunately have seen.
I have not seen that. I'm gonna steer clear of it if that is your reaction.
Yeah, don't watch it. I'm not the best indicator of whether the movie was good or bad at the end of the day. I think the movie was far too long. That's my first thing. Because I will say I watched this, I want to say I was 19 years old. Because I watched it with my at the time college boyfriend. That was his way of, cuz here's the thing is I'm aware.
Did you date a film bro?
No, I didn't. Here's the
Okay,
thing.
we're good then.
We're going to explain this as best we
Okay.
can because we're also recording this during Pride Month, even though you guys will hear this in September. I feel the need to say this. My coming out journey was a journey. There were times where I genuinely identified as what ended up being incorrect. I genuinely identified as bisexual for 5 years before I figured out that men are not what I want, in any way or shape or form.
You could still admire and not be attracted.
Exactly. I can admire Colin O'Donoghue and Josh Dallas and the guy who plays Colin Bridgerton on Bridgerton. You know, I can admire from afar. I see it. I get it, but not attracted to. So I'm starting there. At the time, I identified as bisexual. At the time, that was basically. I think looking back on it, I think he thought I would enjoy it because he was trying to I guess do something for my bisexuality of watch a lesbian art film basically.
Oh.
But also I think he thought it might, make me want to do things is my guess.
Oh. So don't watch this movie.
Don't watch this movie.
Okay.
Again, college boyfriend, nothing against him. Just lesbian.
Look, it was almost a decade ago.
It was a decade ago.
Oh, it was a decade ago.
Yeah. It was 2014.
So yeah, it was a decade ago. Does it count?
I don't think so. Not anymore. Oh, I was a sophomore in college a decade ago. Ah!
I found another cat. There's 2 in here. The light was doing something weird in the window. I look over and the cat's in the window wagging his tail. Where did they come from? I'm so
I
sorry.
don't know. It's okay, but also now I every time I see this at the corner of my eye, I think one of my cats got in here. They didn't. I'm almost done with the Lego tuxedo cat.
Ah!
It's basically missing the head and the tail at this point.
Oh my god.
So I just out of the corner of my eye keep seeing what I think is Mabel without a head.
Oh, that is hilarious. I have to leave that in. Oh my god. So we have 2 other burgers. Sorry. It's been a weird day with cats. I'm just saying. It's been a weird day with cats.
Yes, it is. A nice long tangent for one burger. The other ones were 3 beets to the wind burger.
They're still got too many beets.
It's still too many beets in my opinion.
Yeah.
Any beets. Like again, pickled beets maybe. But like just beets? No. We gotta have some other kind of topping.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is the Grand Brie burger.
Oh, I'd eat that.
I would eat that as well.
I would eat that. So this was a fun episode. We have, you know, Critter and Mudflap are back. Predominantly Critter, but they're both back. Their little baby.
Definitely. When I saw that it was Speakeasy Writer, I saw that it was close to the last time we saw them. Like, this is definitely gonna have something to do with the bikers.
But the bikers are fun.
Yeah.
And so we've got Sasha, who makes an appearance, and that is the little guy that like Tina ends up jumping over to his team, and that's played by John Daly.
Okay.
And then we also have Bryce, the bully, who is Joe Truglio?
I did.
Truglio. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce their name, but those are our other voice actors. The funny part that I have for this is not for you. It hasn't been 2 years for you, but it had been 2 years in the show nearly since Hugo's first appearance. So it was kind of funny. Not for you, sadly. His previous appearance was like all the way back to My Fuzzy Valentine, though.
Oh, yeah. You know, I had thought we hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Now you got to see him. So Teddy did name his beer actually after a former NFL player, Teddy Bruschi. So it's actually named after somebody. It's not just like the term, thankfully, but still even the term Bruschi and having to say it makes me feel weird.
I still hate saying it.
So Gretchen can be seen dining with the woman who purchases the Here Comes the Sun sex toy at the first Lady Goods party from My Big Fat Greek Bob. So she still hangs out with some of her customers.
Okay.
Mr. Fischoeder went to the Grand Prix, and he's on the loan with Owen, the employee he tries to sell to the kids. So he's hanging out with Owen, who has lots of potential. And one of my favorite things is Horny Dave's jacket has been sewn together with the new jacket since it was ripped off by Cynthia in Earsy Writer. So they fixed Horny Dave's jacket, and Critter has a full. It's more of a vest.
Yeah, it always
Critter
has
a
more of a vest,
but he does. And I just have to give you my first note that I wrote down because it's not one most people would write.
Okay.
And I want to explain myself, but at the same time, I thought you might think was funny. Okay. But I wrote, of course it's safe. It's alcohol. And I just wrote, the moonshine I drank as a child would beg to get to differ. And then I wrote it, and then I went, wait a minute. It's 8 a.m. Most people wouldn't write this or say this or think this. But I'm from the backwoods of Georgia. This is a normal statement, I promise.
I mean, I also wrote down the of course it's safe, it's alcohol. I didn't add anything else onto it. But I did. Well, cuz Emily and I we've tried making our own mead.
Ooh.
But here's the thing is we put it together to brew the December, like the first December after we'd met. So like we'd been together almost a year. We're going to be together almost 3 years in January. We never re-racked it. It's been fermenting for almost 2 years. It's gonna be real thick when we eventually. At this point, I don't even know if we can drink it.
How much honey is in it?
I don't remember how much it was. We're using 2 of like the big like gallon, like the 2 like big like jug wine things you can get. That's what we used.
I don't wait to see what happens with this.
honestly, at this point, when we ever eventually do take it out of the bottle, I'd be shocked if it's edible.
It's gonna be like, oh god, just keep me updated. I would like to
Well,
know what happens.
at this point, we keep forgetting. Like we keep saying, "Oh, we got to re-rack this. We got to do this. We got to do that." We keep forgetting. At this point, we're not going to do anything with it. At this point, probably until she moves out of that apartment,
Oh my.
which God knows when that's going to be. So
So yeah, I can't wait to hear more about that one day.
that
It's
alcohol is not safe.
that one's not, nope. I mean, alcohol is safe to a certain point, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't, nope, not that one. So what
Mm-mm.
else, what are your other thoughts on this episode?
Well, my first thought was go-kart league racing is a thing.
Yes.
It is, because I also did look it up. There's a place in New York that hosts like racing leagues. But to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
they supply everything you need if you want. Like if you don't have like
Mm-hmm.
your own helmet, your own suit, your own cart, they have stuff there that you can just use. Like the whole thing of like you got to have the cart kind of thing is a fabrication of fiction. But like the home brewing thing, like you really should not bring. I mean, home brewing is one thing to share amongst your friends. It's one thing to have it in
Yes.
your own home. You really shouldn't bring outside liquor, especially homebrewed liquor, into a restaurant.
You can not homebrewed. You can bring liquor into some
Like
restaurants, but
if
you
the
have to pay a
restaurants,
corkage fee.
yeah, unless like in well, here's the thing: is New
Mm.
Jersey has a lot of BYOB restaurants. A lot of them prefer to do a
Oh,
lot. Then they don't have a corkage fee because that's just they just are BYOB. That's a lot of
that's
New Jersey does
interesting.
that. So like that's if it's a place that allows it, that's the important thing. And for most places that are BYOB, it's usually just beer and wine. Usually,
Yeah,
there are a few places that will let you bring in like liquor and like because there's like I think we went to one BYOB Mexican restaurant that did do, but the thing is, the tequila had to be a sealed bottle when you brought it in.
that makes sense. It's usually the same with like the restaurants I've worked in, and we did a corkage fee, was
Hmm.
usually on bottles of wine. Sometimes I think they would allow like a really nice, if they someone brought in an expensive whiskey, we
Hmm.
don't want to turn that away
Yeah.
and be like, no, we're not going to let you do that. Like, but I remember doing opening a lot of bottles that were not present in the restaurant.
Hmm. But yeah, a lot. I would say I don't know if it's more. I don't know if that's all of New Jersey. I know that the counties
Yeah.
that I live near, a lot of them are. A lot of them do have like restaurants. They just prefer to do BYOB because I guess it's cheaper. I guess I don't know if it has to do with I guess maybe the cost of the liquor licenses. At the end of the day, it's you can get
Every
something like
state's different, but it's
every state's
expensive.
different. It's expensive. And my guess is they probably make more money off of just upcharging the
Hmm.
food over what it would cost them to have a full bar. Is my guess.
And it's nice if you can be like, okay, it's gonna, yeah, this food cost me this much to go, but I can go sit and bring my own drinks and chill and
Yeah,
still get some good, like, fresh cooked food that I don't have to cook. So I
exactly.
definitely
Like
see the appeal to it.
yeah, because like that point, like the wine that you're getting is what you like to drink. You know that it's going to be
Hmm.
good, and the wine is cheaper at that point. And like it really that point, it really does even out. Because if everyone at your table is going to have like 2 glasses of wine with their meal, at the end of the day, the cost is probably the
Yeah,
wine plus the upcharge food is probably the same.
because a bottle of wine technically is 3.5 cups of wine. By
Depending on the glass, I guess.
It
Well,
depends on the glass, but
it
like
depends
for
on the
a
glass.
restaurant pour, it's
Yeah.
about 3.5 glasses.
Well, in the Once Upon a Time episode, the note that I didn't say was when Lacey
Oh
completely.
yeah.
I'm like, now that's a glass of wine.
I plead the fifth. I'm sober currently, but yes, I would also. That's why I'm sober right now. Is I would pour my wine like Lacey does. That's not healthy.
No, there's a restaurant that Emily and I go to a lot. That's our date night because it's pretty much dead center between the two of
I
us.
love that.
They fill that glass of wine, and at one point we went, and the server asked if we thought we were going to get more than two, because if you did at that point, it made sense to get like the cortado, or whatever, because it was like the same.
Yes,
It was basically the same amount as 2 glasses of wine, but it was a little cheaper. But both of us went, no, we're good. Neither of us were getting more than 1 glass of wine because it was the full
they're so
glass.
big.
It's like a regular size glass of wine, nearly full.
That's a lot of wine.
It's a
And I'm
lot of
saying
wine,
that from like the
and
restaurant point of view because I've worked in fine dining.
mhm.
We were so strict on what a glass of wine was. Like, oh my god. Well, that's because
And
we sold very expensive wines, but
yeah,
still.
but and like the wine itself was, I mean, the our date night restaurant. It's like kind of like a local Italian place. It's like not super fancy, but like, and the wine isn't terribly expensive. I want to say the wine that I get, like that glass is maybe $12.
Okay, no, they pour like that. Yeah, that I would say keep going there if
Hmm
that's what you're looking for.
but the thing is, like, it's on brand for
Mm.
them because they're everything. Like, again, I always apologize if the Bob's ones make you hungry, but to be fair, this is Bob's Burgers. We
Yeah.
go to that restaurant, everything is big there. Everything. Like
Well, it should be. It's Italian.
the
It's not
wine,
Jimmy
but like
Pesto's.
it's not Jimmy Pesto's, but like the wine glasses are full. We joke, but we're serious in that like the entrees they give you when we leave after having eaten a
Hmm.
portion, both Emily and I get maybe 3 more meals out of one entree.
It's like a Buga de Beppo type situation.
It's just huge. Like, I usually get penne vodka with breaded chicken on top. Usually,
Hmm.
I would say it's easily a box and a half of pasta.
Jesus, it's
I
more
I
than
would
I make my family at dinner for four of us.
It's a lot.
My God.
It's a lot of food, but it's delicious, and honestly, it is not overpriced for how much they give you.
So when I visit eventually,
Yes, we will go there
we will go there, and that's what we'll eat because we'll all be able to eat for a decent price.
for a week.
I don't know what made me laugh so much with this line, but I wrote down, unless you want to make it $8 for a second bumper car, plus Owen, whom I will throw in for free. What can he do? Lord knows. It all remains to be seen. He's a massive potential. I fucking loved that line.
It was so good
So good.
because it makes it seem like Fish Odor is like. It makes it seem like he likes him in some way, like that. Like, he can do a whole lot. Like, please, but it's really like, please take him off my hands, as
But
he
then he's
is
hanging out with him
casted
at
in
the
a
Grand
bumper car.
Prix. Yeah.
Yeah,
In the employee lounge.
the employee lounge. But and I mean, I was correct in that they had to add wheels on. But I'm like, don't bumper cars need wheels?
I thought they
Do
had
you?
wheels.
They added wheels.
I don't know how bumper cars work. Do we Google bumper car mechanisms?
Let's see, bumper cars. Here we go. Let's see, they have a flat amusement ride consisting of multiple small electricity power, draw power from floor or ceiling, which are turned on remotely by an operator. This doesn't help me. Let me hit
So
find for the word wheel. Steering wheel. That's just a steering wheel. It
apparently
doesn't
there's no wheels.
because to be fair, like they have like the rubber gasket thingy that they get like it's like electricity
Yeah.
that moves them forward.
So, like a trolley? Like what?
I don't. That's what it seems like because like Google does say they have wheels, but like I don't believe the AI generated response.
No, I'm
I
weird
kind of hate
about
that. I kind of hate
that.
that Google, whenever you ask a question, the first thing it gives you is something from generative AI. I almost never read that.
How do I turn that off?
I'm sure there's an option somewhere.
It's gotta be. I love the lines. Are you kidding me? No, I'm seriousing you.
I don't know what was happening, but at one point I just wrote down ha 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 bread.
Oh, they were baking their own bread for
Y-
breakfast.
Yeah, I guess that must have been what it was like. But it didn't say yeasty is a weird word. Please stop saying it.
I think the yeast from bread and beer would smell very different, but I'm no expert.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're different types of yeast. I don't think you can use just regular active dry yeast to make beer.
No, it's a certain type of yeast you use, and then of course you use like barley and all the other different types of things within it, so it ends up smelling like beer, not like
Yeah, not
yeast. Like you don't
exactly.
beer's not supposed to smell yeasty. If your beer smells yeasty, I'm worried.
Yep.
It's supposed to smell like beer, like barley, like wheat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
as someone
I'm not
who's
a
like bakes quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a I mean, you bake more than I do. I'm not a big beer connoisseur. I mostly drink whatever my brother-in-law buys. I tend to like
Hmm.
whatever it is that he gets cuz I realize I like more of like the paler like I
Pale
like a
ale.
pill like I'll do like an IPA, I'll do a pale ale, I'll do like a pilsner or a kolsch, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um I drank a lot of Allagash White recently. I'm like this it kind of tastes like bubble gum at the end of the day.
I I do miss some beer. I used to love Land Shark because it's not a
Mm,
light beer, but it's a beach beer.
yeah.
But it like wasn't too much.
Yeah, I always kind of willed myself into liking beer just because it makes sometimes just going out, it just makes it easier.
It really
Like it
does. We used to
because
do
like I'm
trivia
always
all
in
the
the mood for
time.
wine.
We used to do trivia all the time, and it was just easier to get a pitcher of beer and
Hmm
share than to all get mixed drinks, and it cost an arm and a leg.
Exactly, and it's usually cheaper. Like I've at
Hmm.
this point, one of the karaoke bar that we go to sometimes, they almost always have a special on Rolling Rock. It's $2.
Rolling Rock is so cheap,
It's so cheap, and it's basically water.
basically. So you're hydrating at the same time, right?
Sure, let's go with that.
Let's go with that. What? Any other notes?
I will
Chaos
say
notes.
more chaos notes. I will say with the go kart, the Grand Prix thing. Well, they kept calling it the King's Head Island Grand Prix, but I thought they were gonna keep doing it like everything at the track that's just at Wonder Wharf. So I was like, why? Why are they keep calling it the King's Head Grand Prix if it's not at King's Head Island? But then I was like, oh, it is actually
And
at
then,
King's Head
yeah,
Island.
the
But I
Grand
will,
Prix was there.
much like we say with quicksand, TV really taught me that like go-karts or some kind of like homemade kart racing situations was going to be more of a thing in my everyday life.
And it's not.
It's not. TV continues to lie to me. I've never seen like a town-wide go-kart thing.
Oh my god, I would love that. How do I start that?
I
Like,
don't know. Like there's a go-kart place by me, like, and I wrote down at the very beginning, I'm pretty sure the last time I drove a go-kart was before I could drive.
same.
Like at this point there's certain things that like once you can drive an actual car they kind of lose their allure.
Yeah.
I feel like go-karting could be fun with the right group of adults.
Like, you and me doing that together would be hilarious because of all
Oh
our,
yeah.
like, we've sat and played Mario Kart
Yeah,
together
exactly.
online. There's just no bananas to throw at you, though. I just bring
That's
my own.
just throw them on the track.
Just throw them. We'd get kicked out so fast.
We really would.
I wrote down that this whole episode is just the Belchers break the law.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everyone's doing illegal shit because there's like borrowed motorcycle parts inside
Mhm.
of the bumper car.
Yes.
Thank you, Critter.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote in all caps, not the gum.
No.
Why?
Bryce was a dick.
I don't like Bryce. You
Does he
have to you have to have assholes around though.
No, you have to. I'm aware you do, but I was just like even for a kid, like, and I know we're gonna get into Logan in the next episode, but even for a kid, that was like just such an asshole.
I don't think we see Bryce again. I don't remember
Okay.
if we do or not. You see Sasha again.
Okay.
I love Sasha though. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can tell he's definitely the rich kid.
Yeah.
But he's also named Sasha. How many boys have you met named Sasha?
I mean, that's more of a male name, I believe, in like Eastern Europe.
Is it? Because
Yeah.
we're down here, that is not a thing.
No, I think I want to say like Sasha as like as a boy's name,
Yeah.
like a Russian thing. It's very much a Russian thing.
I love it. I want to see it more. But I don't want to go to Russia.
No, I'm good.
I'm good. I'll stay here. Never mind. Did you notice that when Bob's baking the bread, he's got a big chef hat on?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, give me more of that. And then the last thing I wrote down was just dibs on not handling it. I'm like, that is real parenting.
Yep.
Steven and I will play rock, paper, scissors if we don't want to deal with it.
That's fair.
He's on a streak right now. I haven't won in a while. It sucks. I had like
He
a
knows you too
2-year
well.
streak though. No, I had a 2-year streak that I won though. Like, he could not beat me for like 2 years. I'm on my losing streak now, so which sucks. It's potty training.
Yeah. Well, you just got to instigate more options to decrease the odds of ties.
Oh god, what are all the different ones? Spock, lizard.
Do you want me to go through the whole thing again?
Do it.
Okay. Scissors cuts paper, paper covers rock, rock crushes lizard, lizard poisons Spock, Spock smashes scissors, scissors decapitates lizard, lizard eats paper, paper disproves Spock, Spock vaporizes rock, and as it always has, rock crushes scissors.
I love that so much.
So, like, of the weird things that I've maintained in my brain, like the Once Upon a Time lines, that makes sense because I continually watch that show. That's just been in my head since like 2012 for no reason, because it's just it works so well rhythmically.
Because I don't think you've watched Big Bang Theory in some time.
No, it's been, at least that episode's been a while.
That's been a long one, my goodness. So what did you rate this?
So this one gets 8s for plot and for character because it's solid, it's entertaining, it's the Belchers break the law constantly, and it gets a 9 for personal because like this was like, even though like the two again, it was the Belchers break the law, they were a little more connected. I feel like because it was similar themes going on both sides of it.
Illegal activity.
So this one gets a 25.
That's not bad. I'm happy to hear a higher number again. I was so worried.
Last week was, I mean, again, it's gonna happen. Yeah. Like not everyone's gonna be a winner. It's unfortunate that I think last week both episodes were fairly low scored. I think
they were.
Yeah. Last week was a 20 and a 21. So not the worst.
Not the worst, but this is
better. Considering what did I give last week's once episode?
14.
I think I gave it a 14.
We both gave it a 14.
Yeah, we both gave it a 14. So like, and I gave this week's an 18. So like, it's 20 and 21 is not the worst, but
25 is great.
25 is a solid score.
I did Both the cats are in here. What are we doing now? No, it's a dog now. All right. So I gave plot 10. I love this
Okay.
plot. It's
Fair.
criminal activity. It's hilarious. Everybody's doing shit they shouldn't be doing. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
great. But then, like, the family comes back together.
Mm-hmm.
And then character and personal, I gave both 9. So it's a 28,
Okay.
which I think is pretty good. I'm only 3 more points than you. That's saying something.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to get into episode 10, Late Afternoon in the Garden of Bob and Louise. Bob wants nothing more than to be accepted into the local community garden. The garden is run by Logan's mom, Cynthia. Bob is worried Cynthia is not letting him be a part of the community garden after Louise hired bikers to threaten her son. Bob offers to let Logan to work at Bob's Burgers for an extracurricular for his essays in return for a space at the garden. Louise is very upset to work with her archenemy and does all she can to get rid of him. Cynthia starts spending her days at Bob's Burgers to write Logan's essays for him, driving Linda mad. All while Bob is having the time of his life in the garden. Bob promotes Logan to Employee of the Month, angering Louise even more, and she quits the restaurant. Louise climbs into the crawl space and torments Logan with spitballs. Chaos breaks out in Bob's Burgers, and Louise sneaks away to sabotage Bob's garden. Bob chases after Louise to save his plants, realizing he's been putting the garden before his child. They make amends, and Louise fires Logan from Bob's Burgers. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
This takes all Ryan's composting center.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's decent. And honestly, for next door to a restaurant would be good, like for like waste management.
Right? Because there's commercial composting that a lot of people don't know about. Like a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
that say, oh, this can be composted. It depends on the type of composition. Because like
Yeah.
backyard composting has multiple different types, as well as there being commercial composting in a lot of towns and cities.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when you're obsessed with gardening, like Bob. Um,
Before I go into what the exterminator was, I did say, why is Katie very much Bob in this episode?
Yay! I take that as a compliment, actually. Because this year I haven't been able to get my garden going because
Mm-hmm.
I need more soil and I have no money. So we ran out of funds on the garden this year, but next year it'll be
Mm-hmm.
great. What did you get for the pest control van?
Don't be bugging exterminators.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
And we have how many burgers?
I have 3, kind of 4 if you consider one of them got changed.
Okay.
Kind of. So we have the first one, which is a good manchego is hard to find burger.
I would eat that.
Yes. I think
Manchego
that's
cheese is really good.
so the second burger is the one that it technically is spelled differently. So the burger
Mhm.
itself is the Garden of Eden burger served with apple. That in the middle of
Yep.
the musical number clearly got changed to the Garden of Edom burger served with crapple.
Yep. I'm so happy you got that.
And the last one was shoestring around the Rosie burger.
Shoestring fries?
I would assume.
That's what I went with. But we have Logan back, played by Kurt Braunholer, and Lindsay Stoddard as Cynthia. They have returned for this episode. I really love that we got Critter and then turned around and got them back as well. It was like, it made these 2 episodes kind of mesh really well together to watch together, so that made me really happy for it.
Yeah.
But this is the episode is a reference to Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This is also the first episode to feature Louise's name in the title. She's the last of the Belcher family to get a title with her name in it.
I guess that makes, because Louise is hard to put in a pun.
Yeah, it really is. Tina's already had a few. Jean's had a couple. Linda,
Yeah.
and I mean Bob's in quite a few of them.
A lot of them, yeah.
The book that Bob reads in bed
Mhm.
is called Pardon My Garden.
Okay.
I love it. So I sent you a few videos today, and of course they'll all be in the show notes. But this is the first episode to be accompanied by behind the scenes video. They actually had a series of videos that ran for the rest of season 5, excluding episode 21, which is the last episode. So there will be more of these, which I'm kind of excited because then we get like some background info and the different things with people who write these episodes with the ones we're watching. So you will get more videos, but as you saw, like today's video was only like 5 minutes long. But with that, they talk about 2 deleted scenes within it, and they actually had these posted elsewhere as well. So I sent you the video of just the 2 of them talking about making the video, and that was I wrote down their names somewhere. John Schroeder, who is he's like a producer as well as writer, and then Bernard Derriman, who's one of the writers.
Yeah.
And it's really fun because I love the deleted scenes that they gave us. One is of like Logan and Louise going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one was Bob imagining things in his garden, and he makes it grow, and he climbs the vines, and he goes into his restaurant, and he has this huge
Yeah.
tomato. He cuts the tomato. Mort says no tomato, and so he tries to kill Mort with the
Yeah.
plant.
Well, I think the writer, they said it was very similar. They said it was very My Neighbor
Yeah,
Totoro, which I can agree why they would have taken it out, because it almost, I'm not, I mean, I know they're seasons apart, but it's kind of repetitive
yeah,
to his absinthe fantasy.
exactly. It would make sense though. I like the deleted scenes, but I
Hmm.
just we don't. I don't. You don't get a ton of that with animated shows because
Yeah.
deleted means it's been drawn and they chose not to use it.
Yeah, and then they very often, like, if they take something out, they take it out in the storyboard
Yeah,
section
exactly.
of writing the animation, so that really, like, 'cause you don't, like, they may have the recorded audio, because we
Mhm.
do get like with everything we get some, like, the recorded audio, like The Emperor's New Groove, when they completely changed how that movie was. Like, Yzma had a song that they completely animated and took out.
Just crazy.
It's an amazing song. If you haven't listened to Snuff Out the Light, it's because
I'll
it's
have to look at
it's
it.
very Eartha Kitt, the way she does it. It's perfect.
Ooh.
It's like perfect for her, because but also it makes no sense because they changed the whole plot of the movie, because originally she was like descendant of like a necromancer, basically. Like her father was like
Okay, but that's so
royal.
cool.
Her father was like the royal like magician, I think, that he also did like like did like all like the mummification and stuff like that. So like there was like a whole magic aspect. She wasn't just trying to get power. She was also trying to like live forever kind of thing. But they
Oh,
changed the whole plot of the movie, so the song no longer made any sense.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Would have
But
been
like
nice.
thematically, like with the Tom Jones style for like the main song, it would have been cool to kind of have those two song styles together, but
Mhm.
ultimately it didn't make any sense to keep it.
That's okay. But what did you think of this episode?
This one was interesting, I will say. This
Mhm.
one was like a lot. I feel like it was a lot of the repetitive gags I don't always like, especially with Logan. And I did it with the behind the scenes thing. Did appreciate that they originally had the idea of like him being more physical with Louise, and realizing like if Bob is going to kind of turn a blind eye to it, they can't have it be him like physically like
Yeah.
bothering Louise the whole time. So I do appreciate that they changed it, but it was very repetitive
Yeah.
to a point. Um, I did write down a bunch of one-liners. Although this wasn't a one-liner. This was something I was like, when Gene said about Louise and Logan. I bet when you reconnect in your 30s, you're gonna get married. And I went, no, Gene, don't feed the people who ship the adult version of these characters. It's creepy.
I have a rant about that
Okay, because
because I
like,
wrote down that I feel like Gene saying that is what sparked so many people aging these characters up and
mm-hmm,
shipping them because I've told you when we watched Earsy Rider, I told you about that, how there
yeah,
are a lot of people that they do that. And I'm like, all I can think is they do have this age gap, which age gap is fine. My husband is 8.5 years older than me,
mm-hmm,
but these are children. I
yeah,
don't like aging children up for shipping whatsoever.
no,
I don't care if they're played by adults. I don't care if they're animated. It's weird.
it's weird. No
But
matter
then
how you slice it,
and then it's also the mentality is, oh, he's mean to her, so he must like her. I don't
which
like that
no,
either. That is not okay. So I have a lot of
never
feelings
okay.
around that specifically. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really blame Bob's Burgers or the episode. It's this that's the fandom that does that.
It's the
And
fandom
like
taking it and running with it.
exactly. So I don't try and put any of that mentality that I have with this issue on the episode because I want to keep those things separate. But I get really annoyed with that. And I know a lot of people are just like, it's all fun and games. It's nothing crazy. And I'm like, I don't read fan fiction, but all I can think about is that Murphy's Law.
Yeah,
If
my
someone believes this, it's possible that someone's written this, and it makes me
yeah.
very uncomfortable.
My thing with the aging up the children, because I mean I use the Once Upon a Time and Henry as the main examples, because the Once Upon a Time fandom, it gets very murky in the aging
Hmm.
up of it, because there's a point in the show where there's a time skip, and Henry, the character and actor, they recast him with an adult actor, and he is an adult. So like there's that weird gray area of when you have Henry as an adult, is it the adult version that we saw in the final season, or are you aging up the Jared Gilmore version? Is my question. Because
Hmm.
before that final season, I anytime I saw an aged up version of Henry, I was like, no, absolutely. Like I don't care if you're not writing him shipping like in a shipping way with anybody. I don't care. We're not doing it. Like I will like he does have like a little like a love interest in the main series, but like, and I did sometimes would write it, but like in a very very like PG, like we hold hands,
Hmm.
that's kind of it kind of thing, because it's no matter what way you slice it, it's creepy. And what I say with like the fan fiction thing, like we say this about RPF, we say this about a lot of things with the characters. With we were talking in the last episode about like keeping it in the family kind of thing. Like as long as everyone's consenting adults, that's all that really matters. the characters need to be consenting
Mm-hmm.
adults as written in canon. I kind of don't care if you're like, well, they're adults in this version. I'm like, you had to, but like, you know why you're doing that. You're aging them up on purpose so that you can write things about characters that are canonically children.
Yeah,
It just
because
doesn't sit right no matter what way you slice it, unless there's a version of the show in which the characters are adults.
the big ones in Bob's Burgers are of course Louise and Logan, and then the other ones are of course Tina and Jimmy Jr. and Tina and
Mhm.
Zeke.
Mhm.
And every time I'm just like, I know it's a cartoon. I know you guys are having fun. Not for me. I'm sorry.
It
I can't.
Yeah. It's normally I'm like not to ship shame, but honestly sometimes I'm like a
Not the
little bit.
children.
Not the children. It's not not for me.
No. I did like the whole conversation between Bob and Linda, though. Do what you gotta do, Bobby. If he had to sleep with her to get in, it's okay. I don't like her, but whatever it takes. And he just goes, way ahead of you, Lynn. I'm like, that's marriage.
It is
That's
marriage.
marriage.
I'm with Linda though, being mad that she brought her own tea. You don't do that
Yeah,
to a
you don't bring
restaurant.
your own tea.
Like no, you suck it up.
Well, that's like I've served in a lot of different restaurants, and the amount of people that come in and be like, "Can we just have hot like water, a mug of hot water, glasses with ice, and like some water, lemons?" And then they'll ask for sugar packets, and I'm like, "Ask for lemonade. It's okay to buy the lemonade. Please don't make lemonade in front of me because they'll like
It's
dissolve the sugar in the
in the
hot
hot water.
water." They'll put the lemons into their ice water, and then they'll pour the sugar water over and make their own lemonade. And I'm just sitting there like, I have lemonade on
Yeah.
tap.
Yeah.
Made it
Takes
like
3 seconds.
this takes 3 seconds. It's really aggravating to get 50 different things for you to make your lemonade, apart from me
Mhm.
just pouring you the lemonade. Now I don't have to deal with that with the job I have now, but I've dealt with it so much. Other servers know what I mean.
Mhm.
I did love that. That's not appropriate for the workplace. You're not
You're not
appropriate for the
appropriate for the
workplace.
workplace. I wrote
And
that down.
and then Jean just yelling, "I'm in the Mile High Five Club, Mom."
I got that one too.
You got
And then
that one too.
hands time to get slappy.
And my favorite line of the entire episode, because I really love this episode. That's why I try and separate the issues with fandom apart from it, because I
Mhm.
really love this episode, is "You're my angel dust." Wait, that's a drug.
I have one more that's just as good in my opinion.
Okay.
Louise, you're literally running with scissors, really big scissors.
I'm supposed to not teach you, like, my job as a parent. But it's so heartbreaking though when it finally clicks for him and he's like, "Not my babies," and she's just
Mhm.
like, "Dude,"
Did you
and he
just say
make
that?
did you really just say that? And he has the realization of like, I just called, like, I just told my baby is like, "Oh shit."
Mhm.
Now I see, like, because like I get the family trying to be supportive so Bob can have his garden,
Yeah.
but like as a parent, you don't want to put your children through turmoil to get what
Mhm.
you want. That's not what a
Exactly.
parent is supposed to do. But I love them, making amends, and she gets to
Mhm.
fire Logan. So like even though they went through so much, she gets to like do the one thing she really wanted to do, and it's really
Mhm.
great. And the kids are like, "Oh, I'm this position now. I'm this." Like it's a lot of fun. Poor
Louisa's
Bob
HR
though.
is a good idea.
Yeah, it really is. It's great. She could rehire Mickey.
Exactly.
She would she would do that in a heartbeat.
She can enforce so many rules to make the workplace either safe or not safe,
And she's
depending
got the
on
chalk.
she's got her own chalk.
She's got
But
her own chalk.
I did like the bring back the crawl space.
Yes. I
That was
love that they
smart.
did that.
Yeah.
I
But
love that
also
it's so easy for Louise to get in and out.
oh yeah, completely because as he's talking to the wall, you just see her in the background stealing stealing the garden shears. But it was like so smart to have her use that of like with the spitball. I'm like, when I
Mm-hmm.
saw that, I was like, what are you like? There's no. I was trying to think of where in the restaurant she could do that without being seen, and it really is just the crawl space.
Mm-hmm. It's I love them. I do. It was really repetitive, but they brought a lot of things back. And like with it
Hmm.
being season 5 now, it's kind of fun to be
Yeah,
like, oh, the crawl space again, this again, that again. Like I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
yeah.
Um,
That part of it, I didn't. I liked the callbacks to the other episodes. The repetitive part was mostly like
yeah,
the fart because wrote down. I was like, dude, if you make that much gas from either end, you should really get that checked
yeah, just a little bit.
because it was like every 5 minutes.
What did you think of our musical number?
I liked it. It was interesting. It was a lot of butt choreography that I wasn't expecting.
As you also find out in that behind the scenes video,
Yes.
was
They based it.
actually somebody dancing.
It was. Well, what's funny is I saw a Facebook ad the other
Hmm.
day for a mug that on one side that was that Bob's butt and then his face. That
Oh
was
God,
that was no, it was a planter. That's what it was. Someone had made that on a planter. So, but it
that's
was
even
funny. It's
better.
so funny that I saw that like days before I actually watched the episode.
That is hilarious. I don't need it, but that is hilarious.
I don't know how much that would cost.
No, too much, too much. Oh, that is hilarious. I liked this music. It's not my favorite one yet. You'll
Hmm.
eventually get to see like my favorite song that they do. I think it's their 100th episode. No, is
Mm.
this how many episodes have there been so far?
Um, Usually 100th episodes show up in season of shows that are this many episodes. Usually show up in season 5. However, with the first 2 seasons being too short,
Yeah,
my guess is the 100th episode is going to be in season 6.
I think it's season 6 because I think I remember which one it is. Let me see.
Because my guess is we're going to get to the Bob's Burgers 100th episode around our 100th episode.
Okay. Oh no, it's actually, if I remember correctly, if this is the correct episode, it'll be season 6, episode 19, which is our
That makes
last
sense.
episode in season 6.
That makes sense.
Which is such a good episode. Where was I? Oh, I'm here. I had to go find the other episode. I had to go find it.
Like,
I found
where
it.
am I? Who am I?
Where? But no, I love this one. So, what did you rate it?
I liked this one not as much as Speakeasy Writer. So this one got an 8 for plot and a 7 for character because it really
Okay.
was like Bob, like with it was a lot of Logan and Cynthia, and it was a lot of Bob willfully ignoring what was going on in his family. Like, yes, he does learn at the end; he has
Mm-hmm.
that moment of realization, but like I feel like he would have picked up on it sooner if not for the fact of his love of gardening. And I got an 8 for personal because it was overall enjoyable. I was just like, Bob, come on,
Annoyed.
you can do better than this. So it's a 23, which again is a solid score.
I'm embarrassed of mine now. It's a 30.
It's okay.
It's got gardening and Louise doing things and gardening and
There's gotta
and a
there's a lot
musical
of
number.
gardening. And
And
I
a
mean,
musical number.
there's got to be a time for a once episode that I gave something a 30 or close to it that you didn't.
There's gotta be. I'm unsure though.
Like, I'm trying to think. I'm
What's
looking
one?
at my Once Upon a Time scores now
I somehow liked Skin Deep, even though it's not good.
because it was a Beauty and the Beast episode.
Because it was Beauty and the Beast. Yes,
Hang on, let
Skin
me go to
Deep
my
was. Oh, Skin Deep was a 30 for some
for
odd
you, yeah.
reason. So
Because
there's how that happened for us.
But I'm saying, well, like for a case of like that, I gave a high score that you didn't.
Oh, I don't know if that has that happened yet. What's my lowest Once Upon a Time score? I got a 20 here. I got a couple
Go
of
to the
20s.
Go to the tab that says all scored episodes.
Okay, sorry, I hit a weird button and things got weird. Oh, damn it, I did it again. How am I doing this?
Yeah.
I'm hitting the bottom somehow and it makes it go all wonky. So
That is
I'm
weird.
fixing
If you
yeah.
go to the top where you can see like the full show by season,
Okay.
the one that says all scored episodes. That way you only see what has a score.
Awesome. Okay.
I thought of everything.
I have my 4. We both have that 14. I've got quite a few 20s.
What are some of your lower scoring episodes? Just so we can figure this out.
Okay.
So there's got to be one.
True North, I gave a 20.
That one, I gave a 22.
Stranger, I gave a 20.
Stranger, I give that one 28. There you go.
There you go. Because I also did The Crocodiles, another 20. As well as The Outsider and the Name of the Brother. And Tiny. Wow, that's a lot of 20s. So yeah, I've done quite a few 20s.
Tiny the Crocodile, the Outsider is my lowest scored episode, is currently at a 13.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go, The Stranger. Well, because that one I gave a 28 because that one has a lot of evil charming in it, and I like it and you don't.
It's so weird. So yeah, no, we've had that happen on our like the other way around before.
We have it happens. It's okay.
The musical numbers get me every time.
That's fair.
I love them so much.
I can't wait for you to watch the Once musical episode. Like, to be fair,
wait.
It's the end of season 6. It's gonna take a while, but like, it's campy in the best way possible.
I like campy.
it's not being serious. Like, the musical numbers, truthfully, are so unserious. It's the bet at one point when Charming is singing, because they thematically make them like to fit like what their characters would sing like. So Snow and found the cat. So Snow and Charming, their song is very much like a Disney love power ballad kind of thing at the very beginning, I would say. And at one point, as they're both discovering that they're singing all of their thing, because something happens and they all sing, and that's the point of the episode. Like, both of them, but David's line specifically, she starts saying, like, he sings very long, and very beautifully. I like just sings, "I sound good" is, I think, is the lyric, something like that. And like, "My do I sound good" is the lyric, and it's like she just doesn't care. It's so unserious, and people
Unlike
like to.
the Grey's Anatomy episode, the musical episode that destroys you, it makes you cry.
It's beautiful. That's a
It's
good use of
beautiful.
popular music too. The way they did it.
Oh, really was. But I remember just bawling my eyes out through that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not crying during Grey's Anatomy, what are you doing?
You're emotionally devoid of something, I guess.
Really? Even though neither of us have actually finished that show?
Nope, and I probably will never.
No, I don't think I can go back. Never again.
No, I think we've established at this point that, like, I left when I left, and I kept saying, like, oh, maybe when the show's over I'll go back and I'll watch the whole thing, but like,
It's not
it's
ending.
never ending apparently.
And I'm like, Shonda, you've got another cash cow. You don't have to keep this one going.
Truthfully, Bridgerton is definitely paying the bills.
Definitely. I don't think Grey's Anatomy pays the bills anymore.
It's just on because they keep renewing it. Like, at this point, they have to decide to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Because it wasn't Ellen Pompeo said she would always do Grey's Anatomy as long as Shonda did it. Ellen Pompeo left.
Mm-hmm.
Shonda, please.
Stop.
Just make it stop.
Just make it stop. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 220, The Evil Queen. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our book club, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.